Hey everybody, it's Greg again. It's another edition of Unbreakable the podcast. Listen, 62 years ago tonight, this was happening. I want to hold the Beatles' first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show 62 years ago tonight, February 9th, 1964. I was alive and I remember watching. I was only about 6 years old. Beatlemania started in America officially. It changed everything. Music, the way people look, the culture, the pop culture. I remember stony-faced Ed Sullivan told the screaming girls, there were like 700 people in the crowd. Stony-faced Ed Sullivan saying, quiet, quiet, it's a really big shoe, right? Trying to keep them all under control. Sullivan had the cheap musicians on the show and puppets, kinds of dog acts, has-been singers. But when the Beatles came, it changed everything. Those were the days. New York City, 73 million people watched that show. The most ever at that time. Ah, Tim, nothing like it. The Beatles had invaded America. And nothing would be the same after. Even today, Paul McCartney still lives and sings. Ringo Starr is still. And the Beatles go from generation to generation. Each new generation discovers the Beatles and loves the Beatles. There's something about the Beatles that's different than Elvis. Four working class lads from Liverpool worked their way up, take over Great Britain, and then conquer America in 2 weeks. And then they go back home and film Hard Day's Night, one of the best movies ever. It was an honor and privilege living through that time. The thing I remember about the Beatles that when they came over that weekend, it was listening to the radio, you could hear if the DJs were so excited about the Beatles coming over, they were giving you hourly updates. Well, the Beatles are flying over the Atlantic right now, 4 hours until the Fab Four, American shore. But we're getting ready for the Beatles. And they're playing Beatles music. Because the Beatles didn't want to come to America until they got their first number 1 hit in America, which was the song we just played, out of the Order. They said, nope, we're not coming until we get a number 1. And they did. That whole week was just crazy. That some people forget the Beatles appeared the next 2 Sunday nights on the Sullivan Show. And it was just great. Of course, nowadays you could find all that on YouTube, Zoom, all those performances, but there's nothing like living through Beatlemania. Maybe we'll get a taste of it. They're making the 4 movies now on each individual Beatle, and they're filming them now. In fact, last week they were filming in London. And if you remember that big scene after the Beatles premiered A Hard Day's Night in London in the middle of summer, and how the girls and the fans just overwhelmed the cops there. Just such manic behavior. They were out of control. They were trying to replicate. That's what Charles. That seed last week in London for these movies. But movies will be out in a couple of years. I can't wait to see all 4 of them. And See what they did. All right, well, this is a big, big show today. Oh, God. It is Monday, February the 9th, and Super Bowl hangover. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl, the commercials, the snacks, uh, whatever. Right? I got it, but before we start talking about it, I got to say a couple things. Gotta put my glasses up for you. Well, first of all, we can't forget our friend Bud, dearly departed Bud, who crossed the Rainbow Bridge not too long ago. And there he is, Mr. Tugman himself. But there he is. Wasn't he a cutie? There's that Bud. I guess you'll love you, Bud. That's our man. I gotta answer some mail because I had a couple comments, which I welcome. Anytime you watch a show and you have something to say, please do. Because I love getting the comments. And if I don't forget, because I'm old and I forget stuff, I'll read them the next time I come along. And this one was from, there it is. Robert Cole Wilkes, 2124, I believe. 2112, and whatever. People have like numbers and names after the numbers and letters stuff. They're like robots, you know. But anyway, this fellow said, crazy trades. Yeah, well, we were talking about the Sixers and how they sucked and how they made that stupid deal. They traded Jared McCain away last week for nothing, really nothing. And he got a draft pick out of it, but it's a shitty draft pick. It's the end of the first. It's not even as big. They picked McCain 16 when they picked him a couple years ago. And now this draft pick is supposed to be like in the late 20s. What are they going to get for that? Poop. That's what they're going to get. And they get this Daryl Morey, the general manager. He's so in love with the second round draft picks. Oh, I got second round. Yeah, he got like 3 of them. Who cares? Unless you get really lucky, which the Sixers aren't, or you got a really good scouting department, which the Sixers don't have. Then maybe you could pick up a hidden gem in the second round. But it's very rare, few and far between that you do that. So basically, they traded Jared McCain, who was an okay player, but you had to give him a time to get better. Why even pick the guy if you're going to trade him away a couple of years later? It was just stupid. They didn't get anything back from him to help this team get over the hump this year. It was stupid. And they got to fire Daryl Morey. I've always said, if you watched me before, that until the Sixers get a new front office, that means the owner has to sell the team. He doesn't care. He cares about his beloved Washington Commanders football team. That's all he cares about. Yeah, he doesn't care about the Sixers. When do you ever see him at a game? He used to be at every Sixers game. You don't see him too much. Until he sells the team, until they fire Daryl Morey, who has done nothing, until they get another coach. Nick Nurse used to be okay. Now he's just this whiny guy who jumps off the bench and he screams and he whines and cries about every call. Until they clean house and develop a winning culture, that's the key. A winning culture behind the Sixers. The Sixers aren't going, they're not going anywhere. So, Eddie, thank you for the question there, for the comment. Robert Cole, which, okay, then we had another one, and this was one from Trippy Stocks, 81. He got a kick out of shower with a friend. That's like the weirdest thing ever. Yeah, it is weird. So there is actually a debt called Shower with a Friend. And I just think about it. You know, you're there, let's say it's the summertime, and you're saying, we'll be inviting the McMurrays down, our neighbors up the street. We're having a barbecue, but before we have a barbecue, we're all going to jump in the shower, close with friends. I don't know. Or the guy comes home from a long day at the office. And, honey, I'm home from work. What are we eating? Oh, about 20 minutes, honey. Okay, well, that's fine. I brought Janet home. You know Janet, she's my secretary. We're going to have a shower, take a shower together, and then we'll be in to eat, okay? Okay, have fun. That's what I mean. Shower with a friend. Anyway, I mean, what if your only friend is your dog? You can take your dog in the shower with it? I mean, wait a minute. Anyway, so, I've already turned the page on football. I mean, look at me. Look at me. I'm all filling up. Not like the Phillies had the best off season this year. I mean, most of the Philly fans were disappointed in what the Phillies did or did not do this off season. It actually got worse, I think. But, hope springs eternal. And spring is coming, and so is baseball season. In fact, we're only 2 days away from pitchers and catchers reporting. And it's going to be a busy, busy time. The baseball season officially begins the end of March. That's only like 7 weeks away. But in between then, you're squeezing in spring training down in Florida and Arizona. And then you got the World Baseball Classic going on this year, too. So there's a lot going on until the baseball season officially begins. Well, I'm looking forward to it because you never know what's going to happen, right? I mean, the Phillies still have a good team. They are still favorites to win the National East. They just didn't do enough to help themselves out. They're running the same freaking team now. The team that choked, the losers who couldn't. They wilt in the spotlight of the players. They just can't get it done. And yet this front office feels that, oh, well, we're going to run the same team back. We're not crazy. We're going to run the same team back. Maybe one of these years, they'll get back to the right. The pigs fly. But I can't wait to get back to the ballpark because the ballpark means summertime, warm weather, hot dogs. And good times. Well, I mean, football, I love football, but I've turned the page. Now, that was a stinky game. Yeah, people will say, oh, what a beauty, especially if you fell asleep at it. Now, I got the prop at August. I thought Jackson, Smith, Medinka, whatever, we get 100 yards receiving. We did not. We did not do. But the Seattle Seahawks did win, and they covered the line of 4.5. They won 29-13. What an odd score, huh? 29-13. But Seattle was the world champ. So the Eagles are no longer champs. But hey, every dog has its day, right? You keep it in the bird family. The Seahawks win. Maybe next year the Eagles will come out. And the Eagles, did you see the odds came out for Las Vegas right after the Super Bowl for next year? The Eagles are plus 1,400 to win the Super Bowl, which means if you put $100 on the Eagles right now, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl next year, you get 1,400 there. So Las Vegas, that's fifth. They're tied for fifth. And Las Vegas doesn't think the Eagles are going to do too good, But never underestimate Howie Roseman. He's got plenty of draft picks. He said, he knows the team wasn't up to par this year. I wouldn't put it past Howie to make the team better, and the Eagles are going to be back to it. I just have a feeling. So if you like that, you put a few shekels on the Eagles, they pay off for it. Who knows? Actually, the favorite for next year are the Seahawks again. plus 800. Put 100 on the Seahawks to repeat, you get 800 back. But it's so hard to repeat. We saw that as Eagles fans. It's so hard to repeat because you have a tougher schedule. All these teams are gunning for you. Like next year, everybody's going to be gunning for Seattle to knock off the champs. Seattle is coming into Philadelphia to play the Eagles next year. We don't know when, but what a game. I love the game. The Eagles can kick their ass, and we could be the ones saying how we could do chips and that. But it is really hard to repeat. But Seattle is favorite to get back. The Patriots, one can say the Patriots were kind of a fluke, because now Las Vegas, they have the Patriots down to the 10th favorite to get back to the Super Bowl. And the old thing, which is true. The loser of the Super Bowl usually does not get back to the Super Bowl the following year. A lot of times the loser even has trouble making the playoffs. Look what happened to Kansas City last year. Kansas City lost to the Eagles, and they didn't even make the playoffs this year. That happens year after year after year. So to me, I would be surprised if New England doesn't even make the playoffs next year. I mean, that's history. And it's proven out because you go through so much to get to the Super Bowl every year. Think about that. Training camp, you got to have a great regular season, make the battle in the playoffs, home field advantage. It's a grind every week. But when you get there, you're like, oh, we're in the Super Bowl, the biggest stage of all. But when you lose, it's like you're back at the bottom of the heap. You got to start all over again. That's why psychologically, it's very hard to get back to the Super Bowl if you're a losing team. We'll see what happens. But the game itself sucked. It was boring. If that was like a regular season game, I would have turned it off. I would have watched last year or something. I don't know why I said last year. Oh, maybe because of the Puppy Bowl. Did any of you people watch the Puppy Bowl? Oh, that was even a better event than the Super Bowl. Yeah, you had the roughs against the fluffs. And the nice thing was, all those dogs hopefully got adopted. Like 150 dogs they had on display. And, some were better players than the others. Some were winners, some were losers. But I guess in the scheme of things, no dog was a loser. But the Puppy Bowl what was it, like the 23rd annual Puppy Bowl? There was more excitement in the Puppy Bowl than there was in the Super Bowl. I mean, at times you gotta wonder, is one of these puppies going to take a dump on the field? I mean, yeah. Anyway, so the game itself sucked. I mean, this Kenneth Walker III, hoity-toity, the third, he had a good game. No fire plug in the running back there. He had a great game. And, nobody stood out. There was no stars or anything. They almost gave it to this guy, like a participant in the trophy. It was like here, everybody else sucked. You didn't suck as bad, so you get the trophy for MVP. For not sucking as bad. But really, when you don't have a touchdown until the fourth quarter, not good. And people will say, well, it was a defensive game. Defense, my ass. When you're in the Super Bowl, you want offense. You're looking for touchdowns, high-scoring game. I mean, the Eagles gave it to us last year, right? When they kicked the Chiefs' ass, they gave us a lot of points. They gave us a lot of excitement. So basically what it came down to was you had two teams here who were okay. They got to the Super Bowl. One of them had to win it, and it was Seattle. But next year, next year, just wait and see. What else? Commercials. But I wasn't even thrilled with commercials. Maybe it's me. Maybe when you get my age, 118, nothing kind of throws you. You're like, okay, that commercial sucked. What's next? But there were some good ones, though. I thought the one with the Clydesdales, the horses, and the eagle on the back was a good one. Now that eagle, we know that eagle. And I saw it. I know the eagle. You've got a very familiar beak. That is Lincoln. That was Lincoln, the same eagle that flies around the lake before the Eagles came. When the person is singing the national anthem, they let Lincoln go. This is amazing. Uh, it's awesome when you're there and you see this bird flying around the stadium. It comes all these people, 70,000 people, and the bird comes back to the handler, right on the glove, right on the glove. Well, Lincoln got to be in a commercial. A well-trained bird. Always have a well-trained bird. So that was cool. So there was a little piece of the Eagles in there. Got snuck in there. What other commercials? He made a big deal about this Dunkin' Donuts, Goodwill Hunting, Goodwill Dunking. And it's stupid. It was stupid. I didn't really care for that movie. Goodwill Hunting. Yeah, Goodwill. And it was stupid. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. What else? I liked the commercial about the neighbors. You know, see, the point of commercials is so you buy the product, right? It entices you to buy the product. But some of these commercials, you watch it because you're expecting something funny, expecting something terrific to happen. Because a lot of these companies are paying like $17 million a minute to show their commercial. The point is that you get to know that company or whatever, and you buy the product. But some of these commercials, you look at and you forget, well, what are they trying to sell? What are they trying to sell? You're like, when you think about it, it's like, not only did the commercial suck, I don't even know what they were trying to sell. It's beyond me. I don't know. Anyway, so the commercials didn't do much for me. You never feed on cat. Like that one Instacart commercial where Benson Boone was singing with Ben Stiller, and Benson Boone did his trademark gymnastic twirl on the stage, and Ben Stiller tried to do one on top of the set, and he fell, and it was okay, it was funny, but to me, it gave me trauma. It was like, this guy fell, is he okay? Anyway, it's snacks. Did you have snacks? I haven't had snacks yesterday. Even if you're on a diet, like I'm going back on it again, so I can start feeling better. I had some snacks. Popcorners. Did you ever try popcorners? They're good. They're not fried. They got the taste of popcorn, but they're also the taste of tortilla chips. They're really good. Popcorners are good. They're kind of healthy. I don't know if you can see a chip is healthy. But I imagine a lot of people were paying it. And since a lot of the country is still frozen, people were probably home having their parties during the reason. Oh, very well. I checked social media. So during the game, it was halftime. Oh, well, you're talking about halftime. And I'm checking social media, and there, somebody posted, Ginger Z, she's the weather girl, the weather person on the Good Morning America. I think she's cute. I love Ginger Z. Well, she posts during the Super Bowl, she posts something there, she's under a blanket. She's in bed or on a couch or something with her husband. And all she says is, tell us what the score is later. And I'm thinking, you know what, Ginger Z, you're smart, did the right thing. You're there to keep it warm with hubby. The game's something anyway. Yeah, I mean, it turned out you were right. You were right. I'm, Ginger Z. Anyway, she just thought she just liked Houston. She posted something and I liked it, and she liked it. You know, like like a teenager. All right, well, anyway, halftime thing. Okay, bad buddy, bad buddy. It was kind of cool because I just wanted to see what was going to piss him off too. I was, and well, speaking of bad buddy, we had a buddy once, and it was kind of bad. He got him back in the refrigerator, and he started chewing the wires back in the refrigerator. We got him out of it before we fried him some, and had to get the refrigerator fixed. It cost a few bucks. My parents were too happy about that. But so in that vein, it was a bad buddy. I can see, okay, bad buddy. Well, when I was watching that after the show, I did kind of like it because I didn't understand it, which is my fault. I took Spanish in high school. I took Spanish in college. And I actually liked it. And Mason, pretty good. I was okay. I could have speaking the language. I wasn't fluent or anything. Don't get me wrong. But it was okay. But last night, you don't use it, you lose it, as you say. And I haven't had the opportunity to speak Spanish in like 30 years. So I couldn't understand that very well. But the more I thought about it, and when they replayed it over, I was like, it's pretty good because he went through all the stages of his life, how he got to where he is. And like the house in Puerto Rico, and he gave his little Grammy award like to a little kid. Like, here, I'm passing the baton. It's your turn now. And he had all these guest stars. He had singing with him Lady Gaga. I didn't know it was Lady Gaga. They should have put it to me, Lady Gaga. But I didn't know. I kind of looked at it and I'm like, is that Lady Gaga? Yeah, it was. It was. Ricky Martin. Oh, I haven't seen him in a long time. I remember when he first came out, but I didn't even I didn't. And then they had all kinds of stars on the front porch of Ricky Martin's house or hotel, wherever he was using. And there was Jessica Alba was there. There was a host of stars. So they all kind of, got together. And it was okay. Apparently, my buddy did 13 songs in 13 minutes. I mean, he just crawled everywhere. And I didn't know. I didn't know the one song ended and one left off and it started. To me, it was like, well, one would sing. But it was fun. It was fun to see Trump posting one person like it, which was good. But he doesn't like much these days. He doesn't like our Olympic team. He doesn't like uh, the buddy. He doesn't like being found out in the Epstein files. He doesn't watch anymore. Really doesn't even look himself. But uh, yeah, so it was okay. It was okay. I heard that in Green Day before the football game had like a little mini concert. And they said something too, which probably pissed Trump off. Then it'd be fun. They were flying over. The jets were flying over the stadium. Apparently, the crowd broke out in unison at one point. F Trump. They kept saying F Trump. So he's not very well liked these days. I don't know. Anyway, But I do remember the old ones. Prince had a hell of a Super Bowl show. Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, Michael Jackson, Paul McCartney had a Super Bowl show one time. Yeah. Would I have preferred something like that? Yeah. But it was okay. It was so time marches on, as they say, And that's what, hey, you know what? I had something. I said to Holly, I said, what the hell is this? It's the guy who sang the national anthem. I don't even know what his name was. George Pugh? I don't know. He's there with the little keyboard. And I'm watching him play and sing, and he was all right. He had this thing in his eyebrow, one of his eyebrows. It was like a slash, like a cut, part of his eyebrow taken out. And I said, oh, this poor guy, he's got a disabled eyebrow. What the hell is that? And I found out that's a thing. And I said, how long has that been a thing? How long has that been a thing? And Holly said, well, like since the 80s or 90s. And I said, how come I'm just falling? I don't know. Is that a thing? You tell me. Leave some comments. Is it a thing to take part of your eyebrow out to shave them off or the scissor cut it? I don't know what you do, but is that a thing? And what does it represent? I mean, you're like the anti-rebellious, or you're like, I don't know. What does it mean? And why do you do it? So that was interesting. It was the island thing. Glasses. I didn't see if I was still continue. Yeah, I don't have a script. I just walk off the cuff. I leave myself a couple of notes so I can understand what yeah, I think it's about what the hell? This show is growing very casual, as you may have noticed. You know, I don't do any editing. I don't do it because why? I mean, it's a very cheap podcast. If they're going to pay the Kelseys, what is it, like $100 million? Do your podcast. I don't make anything. So that's like, okay, I'm casual about it. Yeah, it's fun to do. And I love talking to you guys. But do I invest in this? Like, do I put $1.49 in it? Nope. Anyway, so I hope everybody has a good hangover Super Bowl day. By the way, it's February 9th and it's pizza day. Yes, it is. It's officially pizza day. So maybe go out and get yourself a pizza or even a slice of pizza, and celebrate. Maybe, like I said yesterday when I was one for that surprise show, have yourself a Florida pizza. That's you got the pieces of you got your cheese and you got your pepperoni and all your regular toppings on pizza, but you also have things that are very Florida, like pieces of alligator pizza or pieces of iguana pizza. I don't think the SPCA would like that, but you could. I mean, it's what's the iguanas are falling out of the freaking trees, which would scare the hell out of me. I mean, if I went down there on vacation, you're just kind of browsing around. Hey, I'm in Florida, it's warm, it's nice. And all of a sudden, out of one of the palm trees, a iguana falls at your feet. And I'm like, whoa, I'll never come back to Florida again. But that's what's happening. It's so cold out there. The iguanas are falling in the trees. So for those poor iguanas that don't make it, they succumb to the cold in the fall. What do you do? Some people make pizza toppings. I don't know. I don't do it. Don't believe me. It's Florida. But yeah, so anyway, that's the point. Have some pizza today. Okay? Because it really is pizza day. So, okay, everybody. Well, peace and love. I have officially turned the page on football. I don't get into this USFL, UC nothing, even whatever kind of football. That's fake football to me. That's not right. The only football to me, and I don't even watch college that much, is NFL football, okay? NFL. That's the real football. And all these pretend leagues could go to hell. Because who knows? I mean, the people that are like, they don't go to the games, the stadiums are like, even over half empty. And yet they have these stupid leagues. Anyway, so I'm ready for baseball. And I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. You forget hockey, forget basketball. I don't care. I'm in baseball. So I'm counting the days until the first pitch started playing. Okay, everybody. Peace and love. Have a great day. Have a piece of pizza today. And I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.